Rarely have ninjas been eating so good. Only in the Kamigawa sets have we seen so many creatures with the ninja creature type, but now in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles we're spoiled for choice. And we've got several new commanders that work at the helm of a ninja's deck, like Splinter and Esper Colors, but I really like Dark Leo and Shredder for their ability to shred life totals. So let's put together a build-your-own Precon, a strong Bracket 2 deck with a $50 budget level that I like to call Shadow's Sneak. This black and white deck is all about the ninja creature type, building up your army of creatures and tokens and using your commander's on-damage trigger to slash opponents' life totals in half over and over again. Our commander is a lean 2-mana black and white commander with Sneak, meaning we can return an unblocked creature we control to hand to put this into play tapped and attacking. Yes, we can do this from the command zone, but unlike Yuriko the Tiger Shadow, commander tax applies. It's going to cost us 2 more mana no matter how we cast our commander a second time. But our commander also gives our attacking ninjas we control Death Touch, making it unprofitable for opponents to block any of them. And whenever Dark Leo and Shredder deal combat damage to a player, we make a 1/1 ninja token. Then, as part of the same trigger, if we then control 5 or more ninjas, that player loses half their life total rounded up. So while it's a modest 1/3, the best creature size, Dark Leo and Shredder could be cutting life totals by 20 points or more in a single swing. So that makes our job and the goal of this Precon pretty simple. Make sure we have lots of ninjas and make sure our commander connects. Sounds simple, right? Well, let's start with the ninjas. Almost all of the nearly 30 creatures in the deck are ninjas naturally. This ranges from new ninjas like Prehistoric Pet, Lita, or Foot Mystic, through to classic ninjas like Skull Snatcher, Throat Seeker, or Okiba Gang Shinobi. We really run the gamut of including all the ninjas that make sense to include in the deck. We have Splinters and Leonardos and Shredders all in this deck about Leonardo and Shredder, all because they're ninjas naturally and play into our game plan. Nezumi Prowler and Biting Palm Ninja and Mukotai Ambusher all make appearances, along with ninjas that allow us to sneak in other ninjas, like the Unblockable Changeling Outcast or Inkrise Infiltrator, ninjas that help our other ninjas sneak in for combat damage. And some ninjas in spirit only, creatures like Universal Automaton, Irregular Cohort, and the only cost 3 mana with our commander in play, Valiant Changeling, all representing the shadow arts in this deck. The only non-ninja creatures are in for synergy purposes, like Ornithopter being a cheap source of evasion to sneak or ninjutsu other creatures into play, welcoming Vampire, one of the only sources of budget-friendly ongoing card draw in the deck, and Asterion the Decadent, with a trigger that can turn the half life total lost from our commander into an entire life total lost at the end step. More on that one later. We also have a new spell like the Last Ronin's Technique, which makes 3 1/1 ninjas on its own, in some cases tapped and attacking. Definitely a big help to reaching our 5 ninja goal. And if you watched my video on the Ninja Turtles Turtle Power Precon, you saw that I really like Endless Foot Assault as a card, but didn't at the time know where to put it. Well, this deck is the home for it. On its own, it helps fulfill our commander's 5 ninjas trigger, sticks around forever, and we can squat it up later game. I love this card. But with the ninja part of the equation solved, how about the unblockable part of the problem? I mentioned Prehistoric Pet earlier, and I love Little Pepperoni for being able to rebuy sneak effects. You could attack with Leo and Shredder and other creatures, wait to see what's blocked or not, then use it to pick your commander back up and sneak it back out in exchange for something that made it through for damage. Believe it or not, that's only 4 mana to do every turn and can start to get busted fast. But we also have equipment to help us make our commander and other creatures unblockable. Prowler's Helm, Thieves' Tool, and Trailblazer's Boots all mean whatever is wearing them can be completely unblockable. Same goes for one of my favorites, Psychic Paper. You get to change the name and type of your creatures, if you want, while giving them ward and unblockable. An excellent way to make sure they make an impact. But my favorite is a super underrated gem called Tao the Embrace. For just 2 black mana, you can give a creature Shadow, thematic for this deck, meaning the creature can't block or be blocked except by other creatures with Shadow. You can use this to make your creatures unblockable, or use it to make an opponent's blocker unable to block entirely. This is one I recommend you pick up ASAP, it's a great value get. But there's one other way to make your creatures evasive, and that's with your other evasive creatures. Thanks to Bleeding Edge. This enchantment gives your other creatures the abilities of creatures in your graveyard. So if your Ornithopter is in your graveyard, all your creatures have flying. If your Splinter is in your graveyard, all your creatures have menace. And if your Blade Blizzard Kitsune is in your graveyard, that's right, all your creatures have Double Strike. And Double Strike is fantastic to give our commander, because we deal damage twice and get our combat damage trigger twice, allowing us to instantly wipe out 3/4 of an opponent's life total in a single swing. That's why I've included Duelist Heritage in the list too. It can make your unblockable commander get twice as many triggers, and it can play with combat math on opponents' attackers too. Not to mention how well Double Strike plays with giving all of your attacking ninjas Death Touch. It'll make your opponents think twice about blocking with anything. And with you getting life totals so low, you can leave it up to the choice of an opponent to deal those last few points of damage for you. So what are the strengths of this brew? In these colors you have premium removal, from targeted removal for creatures on Swords, Mortify, or Infernal Grasp, through to versatile removal for just about anything on Despark, Fracture, and Generous Gift, along with multiple board wipes like Damn, Game Over, and Vanquish the Horde. You're going to be able to remove just about anything standing in your way in this deck. So if it's a problem that's stopping you from getting in for that damage, save your removal for it specifically. What are the weaknesses of this deck though? Real effort had to be made to make sure we had enough card draw on the list, with lots of one-time card draw like Night's Whisper or Sign in Blood, through to card draw that asks us to sacrifice our ninja tokens like Village Rites and Deadly Dispute, and having our ongoing card draw be on sources like Welcoming Vampire, Tokasha's Welcome, and Skull Clamp, which I'm now happy to proclaim is finally budget-friendly after years of being close to $10. I'd ideally like to have included some other options for ongoing card draw, like Phyrexian Arena or Black Market Connections, which also makes shapeshifter tokens that are ninjas, but sadly, both are out of budget. On that note, let's cover the upgrade. How can we add some bucks to the list to level it up? As I alluded to earlier, I've got cards like Asterion and eventually Warlock class that double life loss for opponents. That turns a single trigger on Leo and Shredder from half a life total to the whole life total. So making room for more expensive versions of this effect on Wound Reflections and Bloodleather of Aclazotz makes a lot of sense, and can turn this brew into a one-hit KO monster, especially with Shredder, Shadow Master already in the base deck. So to make room for these two, cut some of the nice-to-have spells like Duelist Heritage or Swift Demise. We can be much more glass cannon with these combos online. On that same note, Bloodthirsty Conqueror and Exquisite Blood are great when you start getting all of these half-life total triggers by gaining you all of that life. Naturally, that can spiral the game significantly, and is a good synergy to include if you can afford these pieces. Cutting Turtle Van and Ninja Blades for these pieces is a big bonus, though I really like the Ninja Blades for getting those last points of damage through to finish someone off. McCready Lamplight Mayor is also just barely out of budget, but helps your small creatures get evasive while punishing opponents for attacking you back with large creatures. It's a good fit for more evasion options, so cut a Universal Automaton to make room for him. Also just barely out of the budget is Haunted One, a background that means that Leo and Shredder attacking gives all of our ninjas +2/+0 and Undying, meaning even if they get blocked, they'll not only take out the blocking creature, thanks to Death Touch, but come back bigger and stronger too. It's not a game-winning strategy, but can help you make much bigger alpha strikes later. You'll want to cut something like Thieves' Tools in favor of this, since your creatures won't have the power under 3 for very long if this is in play. And lastly, I'd add in more ongoing card advantage into the deck in the form of Trouble in Pairs. It's getting so many reprints, I personally can't wait for it to crater in price and be budget-friendly. It's one of White's strongest sources of raw card draw. Cut a Village Rites to make room for this one, if you've got one, in your final brew. You can check out all of these additions in the Considering section in the MOXFIELD deck list, linked below. And you can let me know in the comments, what do you think about this brew and what would you add to make it your own? How would you upgrade it to a bracket 3, and which game changers would you add to bring it up to a bracket 4 deck? And don't leave without checking out my sponsors like Card Conduit. They are hands down the easiest way to sell your individual Magic cards without the hassle of traditional buy listing. They'll get you top dollar while handling all of the heavy lifting, from sorting to grading to optimizing your price across a huge network of vendors. and they'll give you cold hard cash for it. You can use the promo code MECHANIC right now for 10% off of all fees. And if you want to pick up the cards for this list, make sure to go check out Card Trader. Use my promo code MECHANIC right now for 5% off your order from any TCG. Card Trader's zero system means you can get cards from all over the world with only one shipping fee. Save money and time today. Lastly, you can check out all of my decks on MOXFIELD. MOXFIELD is the best deck building platform in the world and makes it easy to build decks and search for specific cards with their powerful tools. Have you checked out their drag and drop feature yet? It's revolutionary. Be sure to check out my brews and follow my profile there right now. If you were inspired to brew today, you have to hit that subscribe button. Check out this other deck on my channel right now for more sweet tech. And as always folks, good luck and have fun.